So hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 Remastered. This is guys 115 speaking, and I would very much like to welcome you to a really short and sweet level, the Temple of Poseidon. In today's level, we are gonna get our hands on all 11 goodies, raising the total pickups count to 318. When it comes to the kills, this is a bit interesting, we are gonna destroy and obliterate 12 more skeletons, raising the total to 191. However, keep in mind, there are 3 air elementals or air wraiths in this level, but like I explained in the Catacombs and the Tomb of Semerkhet, I am removing elementals completely from the kills count equation to be more aligned with the Saber Aspire vision of kill counts. We are also gonna get our hands on one secret of this level, raising the total to 49, and as part of the Oops achievement, we are gonna break exactly 20 breakable vessels, raising the total to that sweet number 100. That feels incredible. Also, when it comes to the achievements, we are gonna really unlock only one in this level, called 3 stones with 1 bird, and that essentially involves luring all 3 air elementals of this level into the 1 bird statue, as they refer to it in the achievement. However, thanks to your comment over here, it makes me really think that these are the representations of Ba, the part of the spirit or soul according to ancient Egypt, that I actually talked about back in the Tomb of Semerkhet, but I never thought that these Greek ones could refer to the same thing, but that would make a lot of sense. So yeah, we're essentially gonna use a certain method to achieve this, that I'm gonna talk about very shortly. Also, we are finally gonna make progress for the Theomachist achievement, and that's because the 4th great statue to do a handstand in front of is here. 3 times. There are essentially 4 identical looking Poseidon statues, and in front of 3 of them you can do a handstand, which no matter which one you do it for will neg you an extra point for this achievement. I'm of course gonna demonstrate it in front of all 3 of them. Okay guys? And finally, we are gonna make progress for Inspector Wadjet, and as part of this video, although not part of the Temple of Poseidon level, we're gonna visit Jean-Yves one more time for the 3rd of the 4 clues that he's gonna give us, and he's gonna foreshadow my most favorite level of the game. Okay, so plenty to look forward to. By the way, that's the first, I guess, Ba, or maybe even Ka statue, who knows. We're gonna completely ignore this one because of the achievement, and keeping the achievement in mind, this is important. We find ourselves at a crossroads. There are 4 challenge rooms you can essentially do in any order you want, provided you have the 4 tridents. If you're missing even one, you need to go back to the Catacombs and pick it up. Feel free to check out my Catacombs video for where all 4 are located, and you'll know which one you missed. Furthermore, seeing as how we need to lure the first air elemental to the final room of the game, of the level with the remaining 2 air elementals, we should do that challenge room to the last. And that challenge room is right here, and it's the eastern one looking at the compass, okay? So no matter what, do this as the very final one. That's the best advice I can give you, so we might as well go counterclockwise and start to our right with the northern one first. I think this one's also gonna contain the levels for secrets, so I like getting the secrets out of the way as soon as possible. Now be careful, 2 skeletons over here. Let's have them clustered somewhat. There's one down and another. Wow, this couldn't have been really more efficient. Okay guys, now we're gonna do something similar to Burial Chamber's secret, and that's we need to access this tunnel over here with a few pickups before the whole place becomes flooded with water. However, just like in Burial Chambers, I'm calling BS, because there's no visual representation telling you in any shape or form that water will end up blocking it. On the contrary, you should be able to swim there once this place is flooded with water, but for whatever reason, a solid texture with a grate will appear there. I'm gonna show that to you. And this kind of secret design is just absolute nonsense. I don't like it. It makes no logical sense whatsoever. By the way, get used to seeing these faces. It's really interesting, but this in the original game is the first time I realized that if you're using the original graphics and you check out the loading screens, those are live actual camera angles in the level. And if you reload the game in the level before this place is flooded, you'll see this face. But if you reload the game after the place is flooded, you'll see this face spouting water. And that was the first time I realized those original loading screens are dynamic. That's not the case in the remasters, where we get a much nicer image, granted, but it's completely static. Now, if you're wondering what those faces are supposed to represent, again, I'm gonna go back to my original theory, back in the Catacombs level, and I'm thinking these must be daughters of Poseidon. Oh, talking about Poseidon, See the statue over there? This, my friends, is one of the 3 spots where you can do a handstand and make progress for the Theomachist achievement. And there you go. You don't need to do it at others, but of course I'm going to show you all of them. Awesome. So, a couple of more breakable vessels, as there are plenty, of course. Most of them will be empty, but honestly... Oh my god, Lara. Hearing this sound is its own reward. Yay! Uzi clips. Now, you don't have to do it now, you can also do it afterwards, but there is a side chamber. And what I'd recommend here is you will essentially awaken 2 skeletons. They're not even lying down for you to de-escalate. No, they're gonna appear immediately. So we might as well blow up these 4 jars and the 2 skeletons with 1 well-placed grenade. Sorry about your eyebrows again, Lara, but look at the goodie package over here. Isn't this just wonderful? Normal crossbow bolts and essentially white shots and normal shots. There we go. Let's swan dive over the fire. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And now approaching the first Poseidon statue. These pools, by the way, at least on the normal difficulty, I don't think that's the case on New Game Plus, are always empty. But what you need to do is just allow Poseidon over here, surrounded by statue representations of 2 of his daughters, wear a trident. And I really want to capture this image in the best possible way. You know what? I quite like this. And they've done something truly remarkable with these statues in the remasters. Look at that doofy face. But again, you can see, and this is a detail I missed out on and failed to appreciate back in the catacombs, but even the statues of his daughters are now 3-dimensional and protruding from there, as opposed to the original, and the Poseidon himself just looks way more serious now. I like it. This is great stuff. This is more of a statue deserving of doing a handstand in front of. Now, once you flood the place, you can no longer do a handstand here, but you have 2 more other chances in case you missed it. Now, that tunnel is blocked off via a grenade. Sorry, not grenade, via a grate, but you will see a similar kind of BS over here. Oh, it's not even a grate texture, it's just a wall that appears here. Okay, so this is even worse than the burial chamber secret, yeah. I don't know why they thought this is a good idea, but there you have it. So, up we go. And first of the 4 challenges is down. Mind you, this was one of the easier ones, but it's fine. And let's just keep hugging the right side until we come to the eastern one as the last one. This should be the western one after the northern one. Okay. Ooh, and this is a bit tricky. So, let's drop the flare here. I don't want it to go out at the most inopportune moment. Step here and try to grab the right edge of that platform. Wonderful. And this tunnel is a bit awkward in the remasters because it shows a completely different geometry than the originals, and original geometry is actually the one that actually physically restrains Lara. So yeah, you can see it's a bit... I'm not the biggest fan. You can never really judge where you can stand up and where you cannot. They changed it completely. Sure, it looks nicer, but it plays more awkward as a result. I think the deep sea dive level of Tomb Raider 5 is the worst offender of this. Okay, let's just get the small medpack. And there are, of course, 2 lying skeletons over there, and... oh my god, I was wrong. We can absolutely de-escalate both of them. You know what? I'm gonna do it just to honor that memory. And no, I'm not counting these skulls as breakable objects, despite the amazing crunching sound. Okay, so my bad there. Okay. No jars here or anything like that, so all we gotta do is just place the second trident. Now guys, I actually haven't really explained why we're doing this in the first place, so when we reach the crossroads again, I'm gonna do that. But we're trying to flood an entire chamber to essentially allow us to progress. Now, you can already lob a grenade to do away with them, but if you're gonna be a little bit patient, you can get 3 with 1 blow. Yeah, and I didn't want that guy to start running off, or we would have to waste more ammo. See, this is what I'm talking about. How are you supposed to know this playing on the remastered graphics? So maybe even switch back to the original here. It's a little bit less awkward. And now, to descend safely from here, what I recommend is just shimmying all the way to the side, and as you drop, immediately side flip. And you should be perfectly safe. See? It's no biggie. And there, Poseidon's daughter is now blowing water into it. It looks kind of cute, those big cheeks. I don't know. Something funny about that. Reminds me of this guy on the screen here. I'll find an excuse to put this below on the screen. I'm sorry. Okay, guys, so we are now facing the southern challenge, the final one before the eastern one. Okay. And I think here... we're gonna go through a climbable pole. Well, that was a good grab, Lara. And from this thing, I think I should be able to backflip, and we should also be able to do another handstand in front of a Poseidon statue, which, of course, if you did it just once, you no longer need to do it again, but I'd like to show you. Yeah, let's... Oh, there he is. Okay, so yeah. This, my friends, is within the sight of the great statue, so this is another opportunity to raise that Theomachist point to the 4th one. Or if, you know, this isn't your first playthrough and you missed some points, it doesn't need to be the 4th one, but assuming you haven't missed any, that's what it is. Okay, wow, another de-escalation target. I was so wrong about that back in the catacombs. Well, and again, my idea of making it up to is to just blow off the skull of every single lying skeleton. Okay, no, grenade's a bit of an overkill, Miss Croft. Let's do this. Yay! And now, I think white shots are a good idea. Yep. What was that, Lara? Who did you shoot? Where? How? I don't know. Maybe I was a bit premature and you need to let the skeleton stand up. Anywho. There we go. This is the 3rd trident. Oh my god, I still haven't talked about why we're doing this. Sorry, I always keep getting sidetracked. So many things I want to talk about back in these games. And now, because he doesn't have a head, I might have to blow him up. Let's see which ledge he'll go to. Oh, well that's good. That's close to the water. So he instinctively went towards the Poseidon statue. You know what? That's fine by me. You can also use this hole over here to do that. Achieve the same result. Okay, and there she's blowing water, so we have one more to worry about. There we go. Let's speed things up rather than to wait through shallow water. God, I love the fact that we have photo mode nowadays, because with the power of the photo mode, I can show you this exactly. Okay, we have 3 out of 4 activated, but it's still not quite enough water to flood the whole thing. If you follow it with the camera mode, you will find this cutoff point, which actually is flooded with water, but not in the original. Oh, that's interesting, but in the remaster, there it is. You can tell by the difference of the sound effects. Huh, but not in the OG. That's really odd. Anyhow, this is where we need to swim. We're not gonna make it without the whole place being flooded. And my friends, again, make sure the eastern one is the final one you're gonna do, because this is gonna summon an air elemental. And I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but maybe it is without using a med pack. To do all other challenge rooms whilst having an air elemental chasing you, why would you want that? Nah. We're gonna make things easier on ourselves. So first of all, let's climb up here. And again, I believe this is yet another Theomachist opportunity. I think I can backflip very soon, is that right? Well, let's find out. I haven't saved, I might regret it. Nah, we're good. Okay, and again, this still counts to be within the sight of the great Poseidon statue. There we go. Although, you know what would be cool? If they only made this work after you give them the trident, because they're not great missing the trident, you know? And by cool, that what I mean is absolutely horribly evil to do. Anywho, guys, something I also want to show off here is, notice these jars over here. These are completely unique and nowhere else in the game, as pointed out by my original final stats video. So in honor of these unique jars, I'm gonna take a picture. I really want to. Yeah, and we're gonna break them. The only 2 of its kind. There we go. They don't actually contain something, which is such a bummer. It's the other jar behind, which had white shots. But past Alexandria, there's really never ever gonna be any reason to use white shot ammo. Also, if you have enough normal ammo, there's by default not any reason to use white shots, but there you have it. I talked crap about white shots enough as it is. I don't want to bully an entire ammunition type. Okay guys, so let's grab the ladder over here. There we go. Oh my god, that was incredibly stupid. Well, great. Anywho, we're still fine. I think so anyway. What you see here in the mouth of the 4th Poseidon's daughter is an air wraith, and I think this is picture worthy. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do it... Is this horrifying enough for you? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. It's probably a better picture than the OG we took, but this evil thing is just lying in wait here. And what you have to do is not play its games with it, but instead, let's dive. Whew, that's a bit dangerous because you don't see exactly where you're going. And now we're gonna connect with the second body of water, which I showed you earlier with the photo mode, and re-emerge in a completely empty room. Beautiful Tomb Raider theme here, but there's a dark corner and 2 unbreakable jars. It doesn't matter. Pick whichever side you want. Each will summon a skeleton. There's one, and when you approach this one, another will appear in the same room. Now that we summoned both skeletons, I'm gonna make another loop. And now with both of them summoned, yep, there they are, let's make it into the final chamber of the level. Yay! And quickly break whichever of these 2 jars you want, and wait. We should see 3 air elementals being consumed by the statue. And unlock this level's one and only achievement. Well, that was 1. Almost felt like 2 with the magnitude of the explosion. There we go. So 3 stones with 1 bird, destroy 3 rays with the power of a single statue. So the only trick behind this achievement really is to do the Eastern challenge last. There's another one over here, you don't need to interact with it. We still have some unfinished business. Okay, the air elementals are back. This is a bug that always happens, by the way. They are then resummoned and will re-explode. If I was to count elementals as part of the kill count, would this be, rather than 3, would it be 6 additional enemies? I'm honestly glad I'm removing them from the kill count altogether. Let's use our trick. Oh, 2 skeletons with 1 blast, although we did get pierced by that rusty stick. Anywho, that's it. All kills taken care of. Guys, you really need to know when to die. Oh, that's more than 3, what on earth? Anywho, I really don't care about that now. What you can also do is reach this sarcophagus room. There are 2 types of sarcophagi. Oh, these really heavy stone ones, Lara never really bothers to open. She probably doesn't think she's able to force them open, but the smaller one here, she absolutely will, and thankfully, that's the only one we need to get the first piece of the armor of Horus. My god, this is night and day difference. Let me show you here. So this left gauntlet looks more like mouth of a serpent or something like that in the original. They actually use the FMV as an inspiration to model the armor in the remasters, and this just makes huge difference. However, this is a point of the game I really don't like, because you're gonna be carrying 5 to 6 different parts of the armor of Horus in your inventory, which is gonna make scrolling through it an absolute nightmare. And you're gonna carry these for the rest of the game until the very final level and the final boss fight. Yep. That's right. Not great, is it? Anywho, with that prize on, what you can also do is just go here and continue and enter the best level of the game in my opinion. But let's control our excitement somewhat. Something more I promised you and I want to show you. First of all, a really cool mosaic of... I hope that's not Poseidon's daughter. That looks more like a Medusa to me, but... yeah, she has snakes enveloping her and also wings in her hair. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna capture both versions. Even the original looked great as far as the artistry is concerned, but I just don't trust that face, you know? Anyhow, what you can do is you can already access the coastal ruins directly like this. You don't need to go back through the catacombs, so just press the button over here and a tunnel will open on the opposite side. The good consequence of this, which, you know, I never ever want to exploit, and I'm not gonna exploit it in my New Game Plus video either, but you're just gonna refill Lara's health altogether, so there's that incentive to do it. Okay, and welcome back to the coastal ruins, guys. What I'm about to do now is visit Jean-Yves in Alexandria, because the moment you pick up this piece of the armor, he has a new clue for you for all the remaining others. And you might be thinking, oh, that's cool, that means all the pieces of armor are scattered across the coastal ruins. Well, one was scattered. This gauntlet, left gauntlet in the Temple of Poseidon, but the other pieces of armor are all in Cleopatra's Palaces, so it's not quite as interesting as I was hoping. And by now, this should be a very familiar building. Now guys, you might be thinking, hold on a sec, Zelgaris, last time we were in coastal ruins, you made an entire dedicated video to blowing off 2 skeletons. What's happening? Why is this part of the Temple of Poseidon? Why couldn't you have made the previous one part of the Temple of Poseidon? And like I explained in that video, that's simply because we made changes to the in-game stats, and I want all of these to be discoverable in the playlist via the scrolling text and thumbnails. Just visiting Jean-Yves in Alexandria doesn't actually make any change to the in-game stats, it just makes progress for an achievement. So that's my rationale behind this new playlist, but it's still a little less extreme than it was in 2021. I hope you guys like it. Again, let me know which style you preferred. But again, if I really strictly stuck to just making a separate video for each different map, it resulted in 63 videos long playlist for Tomb Raider 4. And that's kind of what I really wanted to avoid here. Okay, so, yep, we have to get past creepy Lara yet again, and this is not the final time. Oh no, there she is lurking in every corner, watching our progress, trying to steal our soul. Okay, and Alexandria is, again, now that it's clear of enemies, what feels like a home far away from home. And again, remember, if the cutscene will not trigger upon you entering, make sure to walk downstairs and exit Jean-Yves' office via this entry door and then re-enter and the cutscene should trigger, okay? Always do that. It's important to prime the next cutscene. Now, should we jump scare him?
Greetings, Lara. Remember, somewhere in the library will be the means to guide you to the location of Cleopatra's palaces. Von Croy will not know you have found the library yet, but I have heard, through connections, that he has hired new local help and is doubtless searching for another way in. For the moment, we have the advantage. But I fear you must move quickly if we are to stay ahead. Remember, the Great Library was very much like a university to ancient Alexandria. It will be full of knowledge, puzzles, and invention. You will need quick wits to get through. Good luck, my friend.
It will be full of knowledge, puzzles, and invention. Jean-Yves, you don't have to sell the best level of the game to me anymore, and that's despite the fact that it's separate from the Hall of Demetrius. My goodness, I love it so much. So, it's actually going to be the subject of the next episode, which is why you can get the third clue for Inspector Wadjet talking about it right here, and I really feel it's the best timing. Let's also check the book he's reading. Ah, it's the same one we found in Alexandria's one and only secret, Battle of... You've told me the name of the battle, and thank you so much, but I forgot again, which is why I'm putting your comment on the screen. I really appreciate it. And then the burning of the Library of Alexandria itself. So it's the same book we found in the secret. Makes sense that Jean-Yves has a copy. And again, like I said before, it makes it feel so alive, because the first time we visited him, he was sitting behind the table. The second time, he was reading books from the bookcase over here. The third time, he's on his side table. And the fourth time, well, the poor guy will just want to have a drink. Anywho, guys, so that's it for Inspector Wadjet for today. Next time we'll visit, we will unlock it. And again, make sure to exit via the front door. I'm sorry if I'm getting annoying, reminding you over and over. But, you know, I never know if a viewer picked up the series, you know, from this video onwards, so I just want to make sure that everyone is fully on board. On to Coastal Ruins, and again, passing very carefully and quietly under creepy Lara. We don't want her cursing us anymore, then she's already cursed. And let's get back. So, yeah, this annoying piece of geometry with the body of water. On your way back, you cannot avoid getting wet, as I explained the first time, but on the way into the Coastal Ruins from Alexandria, if I make a well-adjusted jump, you can just about reach the other side, being dry, which is what I always prefer to do. And now, what we can do, remember, we pretty much unlocked an alternate exit from the Temple of Poseidon, so let's use it this time from the other side. I think it will make it worthwhile. And by the way, those of you guys who are also checking out my video descriptions might have noticed that I provide timestamps to the video itself each time we transition from one instance to another, which is a common occurrence in Tomb Raider 4. So this is a callback to my original LP where I made that separate videos. Here I decided to do it as timestamps as a bit of a compromise. Again, let me know what you think about it. I think it's kind of combining the best of the two worlds like this. Okay, now what I want to do, even though this might incur damage on poor Lara, is to make it over there, or would it maybe stand to reason to do it from the ground here? Yeah, that would probably be a lot better. I don't want her to get wet. This is, again, unnecessary self-imposed challenge, but let's see if this works. Woohoo! I've never actually pulled this off before, that makes me happy. And again, the roof access is off limits in the remastered version of the game unless you corner glitch or something, but you could access this in the original. That's a bit of a bummer, I don't know why they made the change. Anywho, let's re-enter the final chamber of the Temple of Poseidon over here. There we go. And my friends, this is all just a victorious walk to the stat screen. We can climb up from here. Actually, I forgot this is a ladder. Doesn't matter. And if you haven't really already done so, just make sure to pick up the left gauntlet from the Armor of Horus. I mean, you cannot really miss out on that, because if you don't do it, the doors leading to the Lost Library of Alexandria will not open. This is not a missable pickup or anything like that, but just like to point it out, so you don't go off looking for some secret mechanism or anything like that. Okay. And when we emerge from this crawl space, we'll approach the final few tiles of the Temple of Poseidon, which is where I would very much like to save the game and look at the stats screen. Perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So my friends, this was the Temple of Poseidon with its 11 goodies. We increased our total pickup count to 318, landing 12 skeleton kills. Here we raised our kills count to 191. We have also found this level's one and only secret, raising it to 49, and we have broken exactly 20 vessels, raising the total to 100. We have also unlocked this level's only achievement with a 3 elemental race in the level, or because of the bug, them then just multiplying and re-exploding again. I don't know what's happening, completely removing them from the kills count equation. We have unlocked 3 stones with 1 bird. Love how this is twisted. We have also done a handstand. I showed you 3 different locations where you can pull that off in front of the Poseidon statues for Theomachist. So we are halfway through with this challenge, and honestly, we are sort of halfway through the game itself. Furthermore, we did progress for the Inspector Wadjet achievement and for the overall Oops achievement as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Again, a bit on the shorter side, but boy, do I have a treat for you for the next week's episode. The Lost Library of Alexandria. That to me is an absolute highlight of the game. So I'm gonna start working on that, but not before I thank my amazing patrons. Blankgoopel, Mick, Severin Drex, Enstickle, Katie Danger, Pooh the 2, Basic Brownie, and Bino. Thank you guys so much for being my loyal Winstons and for polishing Lara's compass, which was a crucial tool in navigating today's level. Next, I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winstons, Michael McConkie, Caravetu, Renegade Durney, Blanket Fox, Jonathan Jones, Dig the Bee, and PD92. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel, and also for painstakingly restoring the 2 unique Greek jars. Unfortunately, Lara got to them first before you could deliver them to the Alexandria Museum. Seriously, that woman is a menace. I would also like to give special thanks to my brave veteran Winstons, Andrea Pavilianiti, Alexander, and Richard Dearman. Thank you so much for your valiant support of the channel, and also for scouting ahead and telling us of the secret exit to coastal ruins. Seriously, this is becoming a habit of ours, discovering these all over the place. This allowed us to pay yet another visit after a brief detour to Jean-Yves and get a hint about my most favorite level in the game. And finally, I would like to give one very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for your long and generous support of the channel, for all your kind comments, and also, today, one of the 4 water streams was actually not working, but you saved the day via climbing into its mouth, and whilst the ice was thawing all around your body, you took that water in, drank it, and started blowing it from your mouth with an incredible force. You were the 4th water stream and allowed us to reach the end of the temple dedicated to Poseidon. And on a final note, I'd like to say thanks to my free Patreon members, as well as to each and every one of you for watching the video to the very end. This really helps all my demonetized videos, which is all my videos as it happens, but thanks to the support of my patrons, I'm literally able to afford to take some time off to dedicate to these, and this is a dream coming true. Now guys, I really can't wait to end the video here and immediately start working on the next one, because as you might know already, the next video covers my most favorite level of Tomb Raider 4. For various reasons, I'm gonna gush out about it there, but let me just give you an image. You know how we all complained there's no Croft Manor or Lara's home in Tomb Raider 4? Well, think of the next level, the Lost Library of Alexandria, as Lara's home on steroids. Just let that image sink in. That's where I'm gonna leave you for today, guys. Again, thank you so much for being on this ride with me, and until I'll see you again, I want to wish all of you happy raiding.
Remember, the Great Library was very much like a university to ancient Alexandria. It will be full of knowledge, puzzles, and invention. You will need quick wits to get through. Good luck, my friend.